Recording in progress.
What do I need to do?
All right, we are live.
I think I Zoom, I don't really have any to speak that.
Yeah.
Is everything active? Or is anything active?
Okay, good afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order because we don't have an active chair who's present. Or if Terry, maybe if you'd like to call the meeting to order, Mr. Gottschall, or I can.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry. I'm having great difficulty reading the agenda items, et cetera. My vision's failing and the print is just too small.
Okay, it's January 19th, 2023. This is the Historic Preservation Commission. And where there's a public meeting, and I'll go ahead and do roll call now. Terry Amont is not present, I don't believe. I believe. And then Gary Peterson is not present either.
Correct.
And actually his term had expired and we need to do a reappointment. And then also Mike Benny is not present and his term has also expired and he does not desire to be on the commission any longer. Edward Contz.
Present.
Thank you. And Terry Gottschall.
Present.
So we do have a quorum. Since we only have 3 active members currently, 2 would be a quorum. We also have in attendance Sherry St. Clair, who's our city clerk, Athen Reed, who is our deputy clerk, and Christy Sugar, who's our administrative assistant, and myself, John Rickard, community development director. We could move on to public comment. Do we have anybody in attendance through Zoom, or did we receive any public comments?
No, we did not. No, we did not.
No, we did not. No, we do not. We do not have anybody present here physically at the meeting either. The consent agenda, just to refresh your memory, we approve the minutes through consent agenda and also the agenda itself. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes. I think at this point, I'm going to ask the clerk, would you think it would be appropriate to not do elections of officers at this point in time? We put that off until next month.
If you would like to.
Okay. How does the commission feel about that?
sounds good to me. You have people that are missing that probably would want to have input.
Okay.
Alternatively, Ed, it would be a good chance to appoint other people in those offices. But no, I'm fine with postponing until February.
Okay. We'll move on to item 4.02. This building has history update. If you recall back in, oh, here we have Terry Amont is now present. Hi. Terry, you're just joining us. We decided to move on and postpone the election of officers. We have 2 vacancies that haven't been filled. Gary Peterson's term ended in December and we hadn't got the reappointment letter done. Sherry, does he desire to continue on the commission?
Gary Peters, I
Sure.
haven't heard.
Okay, so we haven't heard from Gary Peterson on whether or not he wants to continue. We did hear back from Mike Denny, thank you. And he desires to not continue with another term. So we're gonna put off the election of officers until next month. That works. So we're on to item 4.02. This building has history, and I'm just going to give a brief update of that. So we had a grant that we received to do some additional research on some of these historic properties. I think I want to say it was like 25 properties or so. And we had that final story map that you guys reviewed and approved last year. And there's a link to that, and it's on our website. So the next step in that process, it wasn't part of the grant, it wasn't funded, but it's to install the signs. So I'm working with our Public Works Department on figuring out where those signs should be located in front of those properties, and also developing a draft letter to notify the property owners that the city intends to put these signs out in front within the city right of way that will guide people along the self-guided tour. If you could pull up that the sign. So this is what the sign will look like. If we could shrink that down maybe so we can see the whole thing. There's a QR code on it. The artist actually got a sign. The guy that does the artwork over on the west side of the state did this for us for free. So, and I think it turned out nice, and it kind of ties in with our existing city signage. And so these will be about the size of a no parking sign, and they'll be about 4 feet off the ground, so low profile, and they'll be likely be behind the curb, or in that first foot or so of a sidewalk if there is one. And so obviously the idea, everybody scan a QR code before, and that'll get you started on the tour and point out where other stops are on the tour. So like I said, the next step in the process is to notify the property owners. And so I haven't completed the draft letter yet, but I would love to be able to, if I have a volunteer from the commission, to be able to send one of you a copy of the letter before we send it out, to make sure it is appropriate. Any volunteers? Or any questions?
Do I dare mention that Terry taught college writing for several decades, not to cause her to have more work involved. But if
No,
we're
I'm
talking
happy
about-
to look at it. I'm trying to figure out how to turn up my volume without leaving the meeting because my controls are not, oh, I can do it on the keyboard, never mind. So I can hear just a little bit better.
Okay,
There we go. You just want someone to review the letter and kind of see if there needs to be any edits or anything?
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
You could just email that to me, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Terry, for volunteering. And thank you, Terry, for prompting her. All right. Any further discussion on this agenda item?
I'd like to compliment the company that produced this. I was particularly impressed by the quality of the text and of the photographs and the map. I think that internet site, that website will be quite popular once it's all the way open.
Yeah, the company, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm blanking on the firm that did the work for us right now. It's been a while since I looked at the contract, and the historian did a fantastic job and really happy with his work. And the way he engages with the public, and he's a fantastic guy. Enjoyed working with him. All right, I think we can move on to the historic cemetery grant. Yeah.
To go back to the first item. And
Yes.
with a motion in a second. And
Okay.
vote on moving that to the February.
Okay, we're gonna step back to the first item, the election of officers. And the clerk is recommending that there's a motion made and a second to postpone the election of officers until February. Can we do that?
I so move.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you, Sherry, for keeping us legit. The historic cemetery grant. So we got a grant from the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation in the amount of $28,000, I believe, to put up a permanent granite monument sign and have the names of those buried in the Fort Farm Cemetery engraved on that monument sign. Since there are roughly, we believe there may be as many as 700 people buried there. County records, we could only decipher roughly 100 or 450 or so names. So where I'm at right now in this process is I've reached back out to a couple of companies that do this sort of work. One of them is, of course, Wiley Monument here locally. They're going to provide us with a revised quote. And then Heritage Memorial, they're on Dallas Military. I talked to him. Unfortunately, he is shutting down his business, limiting new projects to consulting only. So that's a loss for us. But there's another company he recommended up out of Spokane called Tresco Monuments. I'm getting a quote from them, and possibly there's a couple of others too. We are only required to get two, so we'll start out with those two and see what happens. If they don't come back favorably, we may reach out to a third one. So kind of jumping back to the work that 2020 did, Walla 2020. They were the ones that did the original research on looking at the county documents, And they developed that sign that is at the site right now. And so the list of people that is attached to this agenda item is copied from the PDF version that I have of that. And like I said, there's roughly, I think, 450 or so names that have been clearly identified with at least a last name. The other remaining names that the county records have, or they can't be deciphered. So that's where we're at with that. Once we get a final cost, I'll have to run that through council, and then we'll work with the commission on the layout. And I think so that we don't have to conduct business through the meeting. If once we have a full commission, if I could get maybe 2 of you to work with me directly, so that we don't have to worry about a quorum with reviewing the layout of the sign itself, of the monument sign itself. Any questions? Oh, Terry, sorry,
I
I
would like to speak.
I'm just
Please.
trying to be good and to raise my hand
I'm not used to that.
as per the instructions. I'm happy to help. Now, I'll mention that in about 8 to 10 weeks in the spring, mid-March through the end of May, I'm going to be not physically here. I can attend meetings as needed or look at things via email, but before then, if there's anything in person needs to happen, I'm happy to help. Just let me know.
Yeah, I think via email will be fine. And if we need to, I can set up a side Zoom meeting or something too, if that's beneficial. But I imagine once we focus on, once we decide to go with whichever company it is, it'll probably move rather quickly. There is a really long lead time from what I'm hearing, anywhere from 5 to 12 months, depending on where the grant's coming from. So, and I just reviewed the contract with the granting agency, and it's supposed to be completed in May. So I'm anxious to get under contract and then request an extension. Anybody else interested in reviewing for layout? I know Ed, you're our architect.
Well, I could take a look at it, be glad to.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Any other comments on this agenda item? All right, well, move on to the 75th anniversary book, how that's going. Keoki we brought in an editor working through Keoki Publishing, Emmett Jones, and the draft has been edited, and I haven't seen that yet, but Keoki seems very happy with it, and so now we're working on layout and getting higher quality photos that are suitable for publication. We have about, I think, 31 or so that are suitable, and there's another, I don't know, 40 or so. I can't see the whole page here. There's another 40 or 50 that they'd like to include that we need to work on getting better images of. So we're meeting with Keoki next week on identifying those particular photos that we need to get better copies of, and working on layout. So hopefully this late winter, this spring, we'll be able to hit the print button and go out and publish this sucker. It's been a long time coming, so. I'll provide, I would imagine at some point, once we have a layout, we will be able to provide that to you guys before it's published, so. Any questions on that? Looks like Terry has a question.
Do you have a target date for when this goes public? Is there any kind of event that it's some kind of book launch event?
I don't, that would be good. That'd be fantastic.
Is there a chance it might be ready by the 4th of July? That time frame?
I think it might be.
Because if
I
it
will-
was, that might be fun.
Yeah, that would be. I will, I'll have that discussion with, Keoki. And that would be a great date to shoot for. I like that idea. Anybody else?
Any possibility we could see the draft in February?
Yeah, I think that we can make arrangements for that. Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing it, particularly the photographs.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have the photos, the layout and stuff in the draft, but at least the final edited version of the text. Okay. That's all I have on the agenda. Just a brief update in terms of like reports. Usually mid-spring is when the next round of grants get released in terms of like what we can apply for. So we'll be taking a look at that and likely applying for something. I don't know what yet, but it probably won't be anything to do with the cemetery because we'll have an open grant and they usually won't issue another grant to close the previous one, but there are other grants opportunities out there. So I'll probably do a little bit of research and maybe send you guys an email with a link to the opportunities that are out there and get your minds thinking about that. Any closing comments or questions?
Looking forward to seeing the book when it's ready. That's great. That'll be very nice.
Any problems that Mike Denny isn't involved, or is he still reviewing, at least as an author, a part of that book?
Yeah, he still will be listed as the primary author, and Keoki has been working with him and
Good,
keeping him in the loop. Yeah.
great.
All right. Well, do I have a motion to conclude this meeting?
Yes.
Move we conclude.
I guess
Second.
we punched the leave button.
All right, thank you. It's good seeing you all. And, you know, just as a reminder, we do meet, you can meet in person. You can come in person if you like, so that's an option.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks.
Thank
you.
you. Hi, Terry.
See you in February.
Yep.
All right.
Well,